Hey guys, it's Cowboy Dino, and today we are reviewing Loki. I really love this show.
And I'm TeamRadburn. I'm here too.
Yes, I'm here with TeamRadburn.
This is the latest of our Disney Plus Marvel TV shows, and this Wednesday we had our finale.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it on Wednesday, but I saw it on. I couldn't see it on Wednesday because of reasons, but I saw it Friday night. So I still got to watch the episode. But Team Radburn watched it without me.
Whatever. Let's dig into this great show that just came out on Disney Plus.
And we are going episode by episode.
So, episode 1 is called Glorious Purpose, and it picks up where we left off from Avengers Endgame, with 2012 alternate reality Loki picking up the Tesseract and escaping he was supposed to get captured by the Avengers. And he gets found by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, and gets sent on this wild adventure. I think this is an awesome debut episode.
I really enjoyed this episode. I thought, obviously, this episode introduces Mobius, and he's
played
amazing.
by Owen Wilson.
Ka-chow.
And I think, if you want to get nitpicky about this episode, it is very dialogue heavy. Like, there's just a lot of sitting and talking and stuff.
But that's because this episode is the exposition of the movie.
I know, and it's great.
The 6-hour movie.
Oh, it's great, and I don't really care because the things they're talking about are interesting.
Yes, digging into Loki's past, his present, psyche, and future.
Oh yeah, the idea that they take this Loki who just invaded New York and show him that in a few years he's gonna get his neck snapped by Thanos. It's such a great little moment in this show.
And, shows, and that makes Loki want to, change a little bit.
Yeah, you bring him, you take him through 6 years of movie development in, one episode.
Which is amazing. Mobius is obviously a great character. He's really cool and
the TVA funny. Is a unique setting to get this show. It has this
whole show has a very unique everything to it.
Oh yeah,
it's not your regular Marvel action show.
Yeah, if you thought WandaVision was weird, this is weird in a totally different way.
Yeah, at least WandaVision still sticks to a little bit of the same.
It's in Earth. This is in outside of space and time.
I mean, you're on Earth, but not always.
Not always. So yeah, this is a great start to a cool season.
Yes, with a out of this world, character. He is in the real world for most of the part, but then you add in it's all this cosmic thing. Episode 2. The variant.
This picks up where episode 1, our little cliffhanger was, guess what? You're hunting another you. And so this episode starts off with that. We get more detective work from Loki, and then it all leads to a confrontation with the variant, and we find out that it is Lady Loki, or as we later learn, Sylvie.
Yeah, so I think this episode was phenomenal, right?
Oh yeah, the 1-2 punch of episode 1 and episode 2. It's it's a great start to the show, and this digs even further into Mobius, into Loki, into the TVA.
We don't get that much of Sylvie, but still we see that she has bigger plans. She's not just trying to, she's not trying to take down the TVA. She's trying to do something else, and Loki following her into the Tempad portal thing at the end leaves a nice cliffhanger for episode 3.
Oh yeah. And this show also, this episode starts to do what I was hoping from this show, because it sort of promises this cosmic thing. And while it seems sort of lame, they go to the future, but it's just a hurricane at a like department store, but it still feels cool. Like this is the future. It's this cool setting. I thought it was.
Was it 2052 or something?
I feel like it was 2051, but I can't be
I
sure.
don't know. If a hurricane doesn't happen at a weird department store with Roombas in that time, then
yeah, I thought it was a cool setting to have the sort of third act of this episode set, and it just develops all the things that you liked about episode 1 even more.
And it adds the new character. Wait, is this the one with the holding out for a hero?
Yeah, it starts out with an action sequence. And then you figure out
she can do the mind control.
The enchantment, yes. Mm-hmm.
And just, like, basically possess people. And, yeah, I thought the introduction of Sylvie was very good, even though we didn't know her as Sylvie then.
Yeah, I just think this is this, I think, is personally my favorite episode of the show. It's just a really great episode. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I would have to agree. Episode 3, Lamentis. Now, this is a good episode.
It's a good episode.
It has...
I have to admit...
some weird green screen, but...
It's one of the weaker episodes of the show, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's still, like,
still amazing
episode of television. So, we follow last week's episode where Loki had followed Sylvie, and now she's trying to get to the Timekeepers, but Loki sort of messes things up, and they
steals the Tempad.
Yeah, they end up on either a planet or a moon called Lamentis 1, and a moon or planet or something's gonna crash into this, and this is gonna be a total apocalypse.
I thought it was a moon that was crashing into the planet.
Are they on the moon and the planet's crashing into them, or is it a moon crashing into the planet?
I have no idea.
Doesn't
I would
matter.
have to watch it again.
Yeah, this one really goes cosmic. Now we're on this purple planet with, like, asteroids and stuff. That's cool. And yeah, the main goal of this episode...
giant asteroids are crashing into the planet or moon?
But it's from a moon,
I think.
Know. But
we should really watch this
The goal
again.
of this episode is to start developing the characters of Loki and Sylvie.
And I think they did that pretty well.
Yeah, and get them
especially when they were on the train. That was good. They were literally just doing, like, icebreaker talking.
Yeah, right, and we get to learn more about their past. We get to see, like, the differences in Sylvie's life compared to Loki. Like, she found out that she was adopted, but she also, we later learned she was taken very young from her family, so she doesn't remember them much. And, like, Loki knows his mother more than she does. Like, it's interesting to start learning the differences in between these variants of Loki.
Yeah. Well, is Loki a variant? Like, who's the original Loki?
He's a variant because he wasn't supposed to escape. The one that we follow in the rest of the MCU, I guess, would be the main.
Yes.
He's the sacred timeline. And quickly, I want to say this episode does end with a really cool one-shot action sequence thing. So that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So episode 3 was good, but episode 4, the Nexus event, this was a great episode.
Yeah, if episode 2 isn't your favorite, this is probably your favorite, because this one is awesome.
And this really redeemed episode 3.
Yeah,
like, I don't know it makes up for episode 3's, like, not amazing.
Yeah, this one is where things really start getting crazy. And, yeah, so we go back to the TVA, and Loki tries to tell Mobius what they learned in episode 3, that the TVA agents were not created by the Timekeepers as they believe. They are actually variants taken from the timeline. And so Mobius doesn't believe him at first, but eventually he sort of uncovers what Renslayer is trying to hide from him. And then, and while this is happening, Hunter B-15 also realizes this truth from Sylvie, and then it all culminates in this battle in the Timekeeper's chamber where B-15 helps Loki and Sylvie escape, and they're fighting, and they find out that the Timekeepers are actually fake.
They're just weird, like, robot things.
Yeah.
I really like the weird, like, the
androids.
Kind of Wizard of Oz kind of thing, where it's like, oh, guess what? It's not the wizard isn't really a wizard. There's somebody else behind the curtain, you know? But I like that we don't figure out who it is until 2 episodes later.
Yeah.
I think that really makes it a good build-up and going on, like, cliffhanger thing.
Yeah, it's a good build-up of the show. And what really is crazy is by the end of this episode, both Mobius and Loki have been pruned and are presumably dead, except there's also a post-credit scene where he meets these other variants.
Of himself.
Yeah, but it just gets really crazy and exciting.
Yes. It really shows that you're getting to the end of the show. Like, things are happening. You're not setting up anymore, you're trying to wrap it up. Episode 5, Journey into the Mystery. This was a really good episode.
So we find our Loki in The Void, the End of Time, where he meets classic Loki,
Which
old
is the
Loki,
one on the picture.
played by Richard E. Grant. He survived Infinity War and like lived in solitude, but then he got lonely and was found by the TVA. Kid Loki, who killed Thor, and boastful Loki, who is generally lying about all his stuff. He claims that he like defeated the Avengers or something.
How did he get? Do we not know because
We don't
he was
really
lying?
Yeah, he doesn't really. Yeah, he's lying. And of course, fan favorite alligator Loki.
Yeah, we should have put a picture of him in there. They've all got Funko Pops now, right?
I think they do. Yeah, we gotta buy those.
Yeah. But obviously I feel like Richard E. Grant, like classic Loki, stood out among these, obviously.
Yeah.
As his sacrifice was, he was the one who came back.
Like, he's wearing this stupid costume, and
but he
whatever.
looks so cool with
But
it.
his sacrifice, his heroic moment is just so epic. Yeah. And you get more action in this episode than others.
So in this episode, Sylvie meets up, is like talking to Renslayer, and so she's trying to say, hey, I need information from you, like, you probably know something. So she's like, interrogating her, and then Renslayer's like, hey, I want to find out who the Timekeepers are too.
Or who's behind
behind the Timekeepers too. And Sylvie's like, no, you're lying. The hunters come in, and she prunes herself. Going into this void.
Where she encounters Mobius, who has also survived.
in a pizza car thing.
And so then all our Lokis plus Mobius, they convene and they plan to kill the giant
No, not
cloud.
kill.
Oh, sorry. Enchant.
Sylvie tells everybody that she is planning to enchant Eliath,
the giant cloud.
Weird cloud thing that's guarding the person behind the Timekeepers.
So yeah, this episode is just really fun, exciting.
It's not like the best episode.
No.
But it's fun because there's a bunch of Lokis. We didn't even talk about President Loki, but...
Oh yeah, he shows up and there's this sort of comedic fight between all the Loki people.
Because they're all the same. So they all fight, like, they're all lying.
But while it doesn't, like, move the plot forward that much, obviously by the end they've found their final destination, but it doesn't really matter because the show manages to show us all these other Lokis, which then informs us about our Loki's character. We sort of see what makes Loki a Loki and these different things that help inform us more about his character. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about this show, where you can just have alternate versions of the same character.
And this really does, like, build the multiverse stuff, like,
right?
It makes the multiverse so much cooler because it's not just Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that's doing this. It's the MCU, which is cool, setting up other movies like the Doctor Strange and all of those other movies. Okay, so now the finale, episode 6, For All Time, Always.
Okay, I gotta admit, I was somewhat disappointed by this.
I had very high hopes coming into this because I had not seen it on Wednesday, and I was excited. I watched it, like, as soon as I could.
And it's good. It's not bad. But so this introduces us to Jonathan Majors, as in this show he is called He Who Remains. But we had already learned from, like, announcements that the same guy, Jonathan Majors, would be playing famous Marvel villain Kang the Conqueror.
Who is that?
He's like this time-traveling dude from comics, but he was going to play Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, coming out in like a few years. So obviously,
which I can't wait for.
When he showed up, it was like, oh, it's Kang! All the internet's theories were right.
But he, throughout the entire episode, was pure humor.
Yeah, I don't know, I felt...
Even in this picture.
The tone he presented was weird. It wasn't awful. Like, I think he's a good actor, clearly, and he's having fun with it. But it just felt like his style of humor felt slightly out of place.
Yeah, a little bit. But I thought that I did enjoy the, oh, it's this big moment. Oh, Miss Minute's like, He Who Remains. Like, we're going in to see him, we're going in to kill him. Oh, who is he? And then he's just eating an apple. And, like, he's like, hi, I already knew you'd come here, but, hey.
Yeah. I still think it's certainly exciting for the future of the MCU, because, so let's get to the main bulk of the episode, is that they found this guy who's behind everything, and Sylvie, her whole life has been messed up by the TVA. She was taken as a child, and now for, like, who knows how long, but, like, so many years, she's been on the run, living in apocalypses, watching thousands of worlds get destroyed and a bunch of people killed, and she finally finds the guy who is the cause of her pain, so she's dead set on revenge. But Loki, he doesn't have this, and he just wants to, like, so when He Who Remains explains the multiverse and how there's a bunch of evil variants of him that could happen if the TVA isn't, you know, pruning a bunch of realities, Loki wants to take a second to think, but Sylvie won't, and so that caused conflict.
They end up fighting a little bit, and then Loki ends up, like, you know, teleporting or whatever, right? Doesn't he do that?
Well, so she kisses him, but then pushes him through a tempad door back to the TV. Yeah. I mean, it's a big part of the show, but the Sylvie-Loki romance is weird.
It sucks. I do not enjoy it. That's probably one of my biggest reasons why I would not be giving this a 10 out of 10, you know? Like, that and probably this episode is why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10. Like, everything else, it's great, but, like, this doesn't wrap up. We were talking about this earlier before recording, but it does not wrap it up in a way that a show should. It seems more of like a middle point in the story, which is I think that it kind of fits because season 2 will be another 6 episodes, and normally a season's 12 episodes. So it's like season 1, season 2 will match up, hopefully.
But it's gonna be a while until season 2. So I just felt that while it generally, like, it's not an awful finale. It wraps up the main story of the characters. Sylvie gets her revenge, but it might be a bad thing. And then Loki
Sylvie,
has
we didn't even say, but Sylvie does end up killing him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, all of my other people are gonna, like, come after you.
Yeah, as he dies, he says, see you soon. So we're gonna be seeing him in some future movies. Not him, but other variants of him. And then it does finish Loki's arc of, you know, caring about someone other than himself, except it is himself. Either way,
exactly. That's the trick.
But you see his character development, and it's still satisfying to have that closure.
Yes.
But I just thought that it was a huge cliffhanger at the end of this that just... It's
I'm
sort of
fine
crazy.
with the cliffhanger.
I feel like we didn't get enough of Mobius in this episode.
Oh, yes,
he gets, like,
yes.
2 scenes, and then at the end there's this cliffhanger.
Everybody in the TVA is figuring out that they are all variants because B-15 is, like, showing, what's-her-face?
Renslayer.
That...
As a normal human on Earth.
As a principal of a school.
But it's like, then does any of that even matter? Because then suddenly it's the TVA ruled by Kang at the end, like...
Yeah, and then Mobius doesn't know who Loki is. He's like, who are you? We need to get you filed in or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the post-credit scene of the...
There's not even a post-credit scene, really. It's just the Season 2 announcement.
His name getting written down and then a stamp going on there that says Loki will return in Season 2 or whatever.
But I'm feeling negative on this, but it's still it's an okay finale.
I'm okay with the finale because there's a Season 2. We know it's going to be resolved, hopefully.
And since the rest of the season is so good, this finale doesn't ruin the rest of it. Like, it's not that bad. Because,
again, there's going to be more. We're going to figure things out.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm okay with all of the comedy in this talkative episode.
Oh, yeah, there's not much action.
I think that it does represent Loki as a character, this last episode, because Loki, as much as he does fighting the Avengers, he's not always fighting them. Most of the time he's talking and lying his way through everything. And this episode really shows, like, hey, like, he's not gonna go in guns a-blazing. He's gonna be like, haha, I'm talking to you. Yeah. You know, like, let's talk this out. That's, like, lie or whatever.
And also they have to explain the multiverse to people, so they gotta take time to make sure that people understand it.
Yeah. And I think talking would be the way, because if not, Sylvie would have just killed him right on the spot. Yeah. And yeah, we figure out that he does not know what's going to happen after that point in time, or at least that's what he says. Well, I don't know if that's a lie or not.
No, you saw the branches.
Well, yes.
The timelines start to branch. Either way, so yeah, that is all 6 episodes of Loki.
Yeah. Okay. Our overall thoughts and maybe theories. I don't know, I added that in because I thought you would have theories.
I don't have much theories. I'll come up with something. So, our overall thoughts of the show Loki. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a 9.3 out of 10 because I have to prove that I like this show more. But also because I think that a 9.3...
How do you know? I might like it more than you. Either way, I really love this show. It's so much better than WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It is so much better. Like, even with its flaws, it still beats them by a landslide.
And this does have flaws. The finale is weak, and then there's a few sort of filler-ish episodes in there. Not entirely filler, obviously, but, like, it's not a perfectly paced show, but it does so much better with the 6-episode format than... Well, I guess WandaVision was 9, but either way, it does better with the TV show format than WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier could.
Yeah.
And creates a more coherent, like, overall story and stuff. And it's just more exciting for the future. WandaVision seemed like it would be super exciting, but, like, not that much changed by the end of it.
I was kind of disappointed by the end.
And Falcon Winter Soldier never promised to be world-changing, but it had some weak villains. This has strong characters, strong performances, and it's, like, affecting the rest of it.
Yeah. And all of the characters on this picture, I mean, I guess Sylvie's in the little corner right next to Mobius with her lantern, but she's not really there. But Loki, Sylvie, Renslayer, B-15, Mobius, and... not really Miss Minutes, but they're all such good characters that you learn to love, and, like, you actually get, like, a good development of them, and I think that's something that is definitely important to a TV show, having all characters, almost equally lovable.
Absolutely. And we can't talk about Loki without mentioning the incredible score.
Oh, the score is amazing.
Loki was composed by Natalie Holt, and it uses these sort of unorthodox instruments and to create this unique feeling score, but it's super cool.
I feel like all of the score has that time ticking kind of sound, which is timekeepers. It's all about time.
Yeah, this has got to be one of the best scores out of the MCU.
And this season is directed by...
let's see. I believe it is directed by Kate Herron, I think. I mean, I can't be positive here. Kate Herron has directed, and Michael Waldron is the writer.
But she will not be returning for season 2,
Yeah, I just found
correct?
out, unless the internet was lying to me, I'm pretty sure I just found out that she is not returning for season 2, which is interesting. Let's talk about our theories, I guess. The real question about theories is, when does season 2 come out? How soon can we get that? And when do these characters show up? I've been reading some stuff that maybe Loki's going to appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Which I would love.
Which would make sense, right? Because it just
they've
depends
met
on
before.
when is the next time we're going to see these events followed up on. And, I mean, I don't exactly know. I guess we'll just have to sort of find out. But I hope it's sooner rather than later. Because there's a lot of stuff coming up in the MCU, but we don't know how much of it is going to be multiverse-ish.
To the multiverse and everything that has to do with that.
Yeah, so if you take a look at some of our upcoming movies, we're going to have... The next up on the list is What If, which is an animated show.
I'm excited for that.
That's going to be pretty multiverse-y because it's, showing us alternate realities, right? So that might actually have some connections to this.
Does it really tie into the MCU?
Yeah, it's canon. I mean, it's Marvel Studios, I think, so that's cool. I'm wondering how much Shang-Chi is going to be connected. That seems pretty self-contained. I don't imagine
I think
Kang showing up or Loki popping in. That seems like it's not going to happen.
I think it's pretty down to earth.
Eternals, I have no idea. Maybe the reason they're coming out of hiding after millenniums is because of this.
Possibly.
But we don't know. Miss Marvel seems like a standard high schooler superhero thing. Feels like there's probably not going to be much Loki impact on it. Spider-Man, everybody's saying that Toby and Andrew are going to be there.
Yeah,
so
I think Spider-Man is definitely going to do some kind of multiverse.
Which that comes out this December, I think.
Maybe the No Way Home is
multiverse.
The multiverse people can't find their way back to their reality.
And Doctor Strange is going to make an appearance in that.
The multiverse of madness.
Well, yeah, so there's that, and then there's Hawkeye. Seems probably not going to have much
stay
multiverse.
Down to earth, but that's going to have the Yelena.
Yep. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, obviously that's going to have some connection to this, but how much remains to be seen. Thor Love and Thunder feels like it probably wouldn't have much multiverse going on,
but
since
it
it's
is
cosmic.
Thor, so maybe Loki's going to be there.
That's
don't
true.
know.
Probably Black Panther Wakanda Forever will not have any connections to this. The Marvels...
Wait, how are they going to do that?
They've come up with some story. I don't know. The Marvels, Captain Marvel 2, who knows? And then we have a bunch of other stuff. We know Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
2, or I guess it's Ant-Man 3, but it's Ant-Man and the Wasp 2. That's going to have Kang in it, so that's cool. But it's just weird looking at the slate of the future movies. Some of them seem like there's going to be so much Loki multiverse stuff, and some of them seem like they have none of it.
I love the multiverse thing. I think that's really cool, but also I'm disappointed because we're never going to have, your classic Iron Man movies, your classic Like,
we're past
your
that now.
classic heroes. You're never gonna see them
What do you mean?
doing down-to-earth stuff ever again.
What do you mean? We just watched Black Widow with a bunch of spy stuff.
Yes, but that was a prequel movie.
They're still gonna make down-to-earth stuff. Everything is not gonna be cosmic.
I know, but by down-to-earth, I mean down-to-earth and your classic Avengers. Because half of them are dead.
But where can you go from here? You
I
have
know,
to up
I know,
Thanos
that's all-
in some way.
That's all you gotta do,
And-
I know.
What better way than a bunch of different Kang variants that'll keep
Yeah.
popping up and doing time stuff.
What else?
So yeah, there you go. Loki.
Yes.
Great show.
Great show. I feel like the only reason that it's not a 10 out of 10 for me is the ending of it and how it didn't exactly wrap things up well. The whole romance between Loki and Sylvie, but that's not a huge problem. I just personally don't like it. And yeah,
In season 2, Mobius better have a jet ski or I'm giving this a 0 out of 10.
yes, definitely. or like a Lightning McQueen version of himself.
Alrighty. That was our review.
That was Loki, and if you haven't watched Loki, I would highly suggest watching it.
It's really
all
good.
episodes are out for season 1 on Disney Plus.
One of the most unique and like thought-provoking and cool character explorations that the MCU has done ever.
Well,
pretty much.
obviously, because Loki is the perfect character.
Yeah, this is the best way you could have brought him back. Like, it feels sort of cheap to, like, suddenly bring him back from the dead, but this is so cool.
But like, he's always coming back from the dead, except when he's actually dead. So, and even then, he's still alive. So definitely watch it. It's a great show. Definitely enjoyable. Has some good plot, everything. But I would say that the last episode didn't wrap it up perfectly, but that's alright, because we're getting to season 2. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed our review, and yeah, bye.